Today, I'm breaking down how to read food labels the right way so you can make healthier choices and stop falling for fancy marketing techniques used by big food companies to get you to buy more of their stuff. If you ever feel a little bit confused and overwhelmed trying to read the nutrition label and ingredients list, you're not alone. I felt the same way before I learned how to read them properly, and I'm taking years of that knowledge and distilling it for you in this video. Like, what do all of these numbers even mean? Should you pay attention to the grams or percentages? And should you worry just about the macros, or do the ingredients really matter too? I'm covering a lot in this video, but don't let that overwhelm you. You may want to watch it a couple of times, pause it, and take notes. After you watch it, I want to hear from you in the comments what you thought was the most surprising or interesting thing that you learned. Something else that might be helpful is to go grab a food item from your pantry and follow along as I go through each item in this video. And be sure to stay till the end because I'm sharing a little known tip that will do wonders for your gut health and inflammation. I'm Dr. Morgan Nolte, founder of Zivli, where we help you lose weight, keep it off, and get healthy with a low insulin and inflammation lifestyle. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss out on tips that can help you live a healthier, happier life. Let's start with the basics. A food label has several key pieces of information, but the most important for blood sugar control and weight management are serving size, calories, total carbs, fiber, added sugars, fats, protein, and the ingredients list. Something else you may notice is the percentage of daily value. This is a column of percentages, usually in bold, on a nutrition label. The percentage daily value is based largely on the US dietary guidelines for Americans, and the percentage daily value is typically based on a 2,000 calorie a day diet, which is a general reference, not a specific recommendation for individuals. Now, the US dietary guidelines were established in 1980 and are updated every 5 years. And thus far, these guidelines have led to a country where more than 2/3 of adults are overweight or obese, and about 88% have some degree of insulin resistance or metabolic problems. So it's safe to say that we can stop taking nutrition advice from the US government and ignore these percentages. It's more helpful to focus on the grams column instead. Added sugar is a classic example of why I suggest ignoring the percentage daily value. If you are basing your amount of added sugar each day on the recommended percentage daily value, 10 grams of added sugar is just 20% of your daily value. So really, you could justify to yourself that it's okay to have 50 grams of added sugar a day, which is absolutely unnecessary and terrible for your health. Now that you know you can ignore the percentage daily value, let's talk about serving size. This tells you how much the numbers on the food label apply to that specific food. It's usually listed right at the top in bold. One serving size may seem small, but you could end up eating more and consuming more sugar, carbs, and calories than you realize. For example, a single serving size of Special K red berries is only 1 cup. But if you pour it into a cereal bowl and then measure your actual serving size, it might be closer to 2 cups. In which case, you'd want to double everything else on the nutrition label. So instead of having 10 grams of added sugar, you'd be having 20. Instead of having 140 calories in the cereal, you're having 280, and so on. Next, let's focus on total carbs and fiber. To find the net carbs, subtract fiber from total carbs. This gives you the net carbs in a food, which is essentially just the starches and the sugars, because those are the carbs that will raise blood sugar levels. Fiber won't. Fiber actually slows sugar absorption, which is better for blood sugar control, so it's not counted towards net carbs. On this Special K label, there are 34 grams of total carbs per serving and 3 grams of fiber. I would never recommend this to anyone trying to lower their blood sugar or lose weight. It is way too high in carbs and low in fat and protein. It's just going to cause a blood sugar and an insulin spike, leaving you craving carbs and hungry in just a couple of hours. Now let's talk about added sugars. These can actually be a little bit tricky to find. The American Heart Association recommends that women have no more than 24 grams of added sugar per day, and that men have no more than 36 grams. I like what Dr. Jason Fung says in the book, The Obesity Code, that added sugar is like cigarettes. Obviously, the less the better. But in many processed foods, even processed foods you think would be healthy like this Special K, sneak in sugar, sometimes in surprising places. You can find added sugars on the nutrition label under the total sugars. The total sugars would be any added sugar plus sugar found naturally in the food. So in this example, maybe what's in the dehydrated strawberries. To see what sugar was actually added, you'd have to look at the ingredients list. It's important to start looking at the ingredient list and recognizing that the word sugar doesn't always appear. In fact, there are so many names for added sugar, well over 60. So look for terms like high fructose corn syrup, other syrups, sucrose, cane sugar, dextrin, dextrose, fructose, or concentrated fruit juices. Sugar is sugar, and they are all added sugars that will spike your blood sugar. In this special K, the added sugar is pretty easy to find. They just use table sugar, so it's listed as sugar. But another form of sugar also included in this product is brown sugar syrup. So the sugar and brown sugar syrup would make up the 10 grams of added sugar per serving. Now here's where trying to find added sugars gets tricky. Natural sugars like honey, agave, maple syrup, and fruit juices don't have to be listed under the added sugars line on the nutrition label, but they will be under the total sugars line. Many of these natural sugars contain even more fructose than table sugar, so be mindful of them in the ingredients. And just FYI, the more fructose a food has, the harder it is on your liver. To be clear, concentrated fruit juices are considered added sugars if they are added during processing or preparation of foods and beverages. However, fruit juice that's just 100% juice from the fruit and sold to consumers is not considered added sugar, but that fruit juice acts just like added sugar and should be avoided. Instead of eating foods high in added sugar, look for foods sweetened with natural alternatives like stevia or monk fruit. Those won't spike your blood sugar or insulin. We recommend avoiding artificial sweeteners as much as possible, like aspartame, acesulfame potassium, sucralose, and saccharin, just to name a few. While they may not spike blood sugar or insulin significantly, they will impair gut health if consumed in large amounts over a long period of time, like if you're a regular Diet Coke drinker. Sugar alcohols are better, but most will still have at least a small blood sugar or insulin response, except erythritol, which for many in larger amounts causes bloating and gas, so why would you want to eat a ton of that anyways? These artificial sweeteners and sugar alcohols are very commonly found in sugar-free products, so keep an eye out for those ingredients on the ingredients list, and just stick with whole food as much as possible. Next up are dietary fats, and not all fats are created equal. Pay close attention to trans fats and processed omega-6 fats, as they can increase insulin resistance and worsen blood sugar control. Now, trans fats from partially hydrogenated oils were banned back in around 2018 from the US food supply, but that doesn't mean they're not sneaking their way into our processed foods. Trans fats promote oxidative stress at a cellular level, they drive insulin resistance and create inflammation. Even if a product claims zero trans fat, it may still contain small amounts that doesn't meet the threshold to put 1 gram per serving size on the food label. But if it has industrialized seed oils, you can bet there's some trans fat in the food. So look for ingredients like soybean oil, corn oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, peanut oil, cottonseed oil, safflower oil, and grapeseed oil. These oils have trans fats in them because of how they are processed. And recognize that these are the types of oils that food companies are frying food in, and the more times the oil is used to fry the food, the higher the amount of trans fats in the oil becomes, and the more unhealthy the food becomes. So think about that the next time you're gonna have French fries at McDonald's or Wendy's. How many times have they used that soybean oil or canola oil or vegetable oil to fry the fry? Because there's trans fats in there, I guarantee it. Same goes for donuts or chicken fingers or any other fried food. Instead, choose healthy fats from nuts, seeds, avocado, and olives, which can improve insulin sensitivity and overall health. For example, instead of having these Lay's potato chips that are made from sunflower, corn, and or soybean oils that will cause cellular inflammation, try these Boulder chips that are just made with potatoes, avocado oil, and salt. And instead of these Terra vegetable chips that have canola, safflower, and or sunflower oil, try these Jackson's sweet potato chips that are made with sweet potatoes, avocado oil, and salt. It's about a good, better, best approach, I think, when it comes to nutrition. especially to change your habits in a way that feels good and sustainable over time. Now, fair warning, you do have to watch portion sizes even with these better options. They are still high in carbs and will spike your blood sugar levels, especially if you have them alone as a snack or in large amounts, and I speak from experience on this one from testing it with a continuous glucose monitor. If you're gonna have these chips, I suggest having them at the end of your meal and pre-portioning them out, then putting the bag away to prevent overeating them. Another key area to look at on this food label is protein. Protein plays an important role in blood sugar management by slowing the absorption of carbohydrates. It also keeps you fuller for longer and reduces cravings that lead to overeating. We suggest getting 30 to 50 grams of protein per meal, and this can be from a combination of foods. To learn more about macros and to see food tables for the best sources of healthy fats, protein, and fiber, download our free Ultimate Food Guide. There's a link in the description. And lastly, let's talk a little bit more about the ingredients list. The ingredients on a food label are always listed in order of quantity, from highest to lowest. This is really important to keep in mind when you're choosing foods for blood sugar control. For example, if you see several types of sugar listed near the top of the ingredients list, like cane sugar, corn syrup, or honey, this means the food is likely loaded with sugar, even if it's marketed as being healthy. A great example is Nutri-Grain bars by Kellogg's. They contain multiple types of added sugars, including sugar, dextrose, fructose, invert sugar, corn syrup, cherry puree concentrate, and more sugar. By listing these separately, the total sugar content is still very high, but none of these individual sugars have to appear as the first or second or third ingredient. This is a common trick used in processed foods to make a product seem healthier while still being loaded with sugar. So even if a product appears healthy on the front of the label, the ingredient list can often tell a different story about what's really hiding in the food and whether it aligns with your health goals or not. Anytime a processed food says high protein, is a great chance to use your new detective skills and check out the food label, especially added sugars. These Simply Fuel protein balls state that they are high in protein, but if you look at the back, one serving size actually has more added sugar, 10 grams, than protein, 8 grams. So the front should really say high sugar, but I'm guessing that wouldn't sell as well, would it? The bonus tip I wanted to share with you related to gut health is to check the ingredients list for food emulsifiers that can contribute to leaky gut and whole body inflammation. These are so common in protein bars and shakes to add texture and get the consistency right. Common names are lecithin, which is a byproduct of making refined seed oils. So you might see soy lecithin or sunflower lecithin, for example. Other common emulsifiers include mono and diglycerides, carrageenan, guar gum, maltodextrin, and polysorbate 80. Now that you know some of those terms, let's go back to these Nutri-Grain bars. They have vegetable glycerin, mono and diglycerides, soy lecithin, carrageenan, and guar gum. Doesn't make you want to buy them, does it? Check out this keto-friendly Ready Whip. It actually has mono and diglycerides and carrageenan for emulsifiers, plus one of those artificial sweeteners I warned you about, sucralose. This is a great example of why just eating real food is better. We make our own whipped cream with heavy whipping cream, vanilla, and stevia, and it is delicious. Now, my mom is a lawyer, and she says once you're a lawyer, you look at everything through a lawyer lens. Well, friends, now you're a food detective, and you're gonna look at everything through a different lens, especially processed food. For example, now instead of just seeing sugar-free Jell-O and thinking, oh great, it's sugar-free, so I don't have to worry about it and I can have as much as I want, you're going to now ignore everything on the front of the food package and look at the ingredients list. Then you're gonna see lots of unhealthy ingredients, including maltodextrin, aspartame, acesulfame potassium, and Red 40. Red 40 is an artificial food dye, and at least at the time of this recording, the US has not caught up with other countries by banning artificial food dyes from our food supply, so here we are. We aren't getting into artificial food colorings in this episode today because that's a whole nother can of worms. But just know they're not a good thing. They've actually been linked to a lot of neurological and brain symptoms. I did a great interview that I'll link to on the end screen so you can learn more about the harmful effect of artificial food dyes. You want another crazy example? I spent 10 minutes one time in Walmart trying to find a pickle that didn't have an artificial food dye or a food emulsifier. Why do these pickles have polysorbate 80? I don't know. I don't know why that was necessary. If you know why that was necessary, please put that in the comments. So, Wrapping it up, what should you avoid or at least significantly reduce in your diet? Highly processed foods that are loaded with added sugars, artificial sweeteners, food emulsifiers, and inflammatory seed oils. Be wary of chips, sugary snacks, and packaged meals marketed as being healthy. Remember, if it didn't have eyes or come straight out of the ground or off a plant, it's processed, and you should put your detective hat on and look at the label and ingredients list. When you're picking out food, remember, always check the serving size, assess the net carbs, avoid added sugars, and choose healthy fats and proteins that support balanced blood sugar. It really is about making smart, small choices that are sustainable for you and your lifestyle over time, not doing some crash diet that won't stick. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you never miss a new video. Be sure to check out this video next to learn more about the harmful effects of artificial food dyes.